Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make tiny improvements to your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon. Hello and welcome to the first episode of 2023. I hope everyone had a safe holiday and Happy New Year. And I am excited to be back with a new episode. And today is going to be a fun one because it's something that I think many of you are going to want to take and implement in your businesses. So first we need to rewind, and I'm going to give a brief history of my association with Grab and Go Garlands. So if you have been listening for a while, you know that in 2022, I had my friend Ali from Charming Garlands on the podcast, and we talked about Grab and Go garlands. And this was not a service that I previously offered. I always saw Grab and Go garlands as a way of almost getting in my own way. Like, I didn't want to offer $100 pickup options on Saturday mornings because I needed to be available for larger paying installations. So I never offered grab and goes, even though I know a lot of people did. I didn't want people coming to my house, but a lot of things changed. After I talked to Ali, I realized that I would never have been smart to offer a Saturday pickup, and that she actually suggested offering a Thursday pickup window. So that was the first piece that clicked for me. I finally realized, maybe I could offer these and also still do my installations. So then the second thing that happened is that for the first time, I finally had a pickup spot. It wasn't my home. I actually had like a little business private entry door. It's still connected to my house, but I now had like a little shop that felt more appropriate to have people come and pick up. So all of a sudden, I felt like I was in this place to actually implement Grab and Go Garlands, which is what I did. And I generated about $12,000 of additional revenue from those Grab and Go Garlands in 2022. So fast forward a little bit, and Ali and I got together again to create a bundle for Grab and Go Garlands. So for you guys, so for people who wanted just everything in one spot, how to make a garland, what to say on the direction cards, a done for you video that you can show your customers so they know how to install. So we released this Grab and Go bundle probably about 6 months ago now, maybe a little bit more than that. And then from there, that was kind of the last that you've heard about me talking about Grab and Go Garlands. But there is a final piece of the story, and that is that now I have completely outsourced my Grab and Go Garlands so that I don't make them, and I don't actually even have them picked up from my shop anymore. I have outsourced all of this to a local grocery store. So that is what I'm going to talk about today, how you can essentially turn your Grab and Go Garlands into a passive income stream so that you don't have to deal with people on the front end when they book. That's all automated. You don't have to make the garlands. I have someone else do that for me now. And you don't have to be there for pickup. So you find a third-party location to partner with so that they handle the pickups for you. And that's everything I've done this year. So that is what we are going to get into right after this quick sponsor break.
Hi, this is Jeff from Balloon Suite by Asset Lab. We help balloon decor businesses bring in more sales and leads with a high-tech toolkit that includes your website, your domain, your advertising, your search engine optimization. Our plans start at $50 a month, and we'll even buy out your Wix or Squarespace or GoDaddy subscription to help you get onto a platform that's made for and optimized for your business in balloon decor. Check us out at balloonsuite.com.
All right, welcome back. Let's jump right into it. So I really loved the grab and goes, but then I think I started to not like certain parts of the process. So first of all, once people actually started ordering them and coming to my shop to pick them up, they were not punctual. So even if somebody set up a 2 p.m. pickup time, they rarely showed up at 2 p.m. They were there early and I wasn't ready yet, or they were there late and I was standing around waiting. And the whole pickup situation started to get a little bit tiring. The other thing that happened is that as business picked up, Thursdays were kind of an inconvenient day to have people pick up from the shop without it being a total disaster. Because by the time Thursdays came around, I was already inflating for the weekend. So then I was trying to keep my shop pretty and clean for people to come in and pick up their garlands, and that actually felt like a lot more work. So by the end, I was actually trying to like run out to people's cars and do more of like a car side pickup rather than having them come inside. But that was hard because like I wanted them to see the colors before I put them in a bag, and sometimes the weather would be weird, or like they would it just ended up me trying to keep people out of my shops on Thursdays because it was so full of balloons. So that started to be another inconvenience. And then after you make a bunch of these, kind of just I didn't want to make them anymore. Like that was just me being a little bit selfish. Like they lost their novelty. They weren't as exciting anymore. So I tried to take a constructive look at it and really isolate the parts of my grab and go garland process that were working and then the parts that were not working. So first of all, what was working? People were ordering them. They were a success. The booking process was awesome. I did online scheduling through 17 Hats, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but the front end of the grab and go garland experience was perfect, seamless. People were liking them. Like I wasn't getting complaints. I think the recipe was easy. So the actual process, there was enough there to keep them. Oh, the other thing is I was making a ton of money. Like I was making an additional, in the summer, probably an additional $400 or $500 a week offering grab and go garlands. Because remember, in summer, when your weekends are booked, that is when you're easily able to push grab and go garlands because it's a garland or nothing. So it's an alternative. When it's a little bit slower in the season, I have definitely been selling fewer grab and go garlands throughout the winter, but I think that's because people are traveling, they're not having as many wedding showers or baby showers or smaller birthday parties. So starting at graduation season through the summer is when I had my grab and go garland boom. So I wasn't going to walk away from $12,000 of additional income, but I did want to relieve some of those pain points that I was experiencing. So having to make the garlands and having to wait for the pickup were really the part that was difficult for me, or felt like work, or felt like it could just be a little bit easier. That along with trying to keep my shop clean for that Thursday. Like I am just kind of a disaster when I work. There's stuff everywhere, balloons everywhere. So by the time you get to Thursday, the shop looked like a bomb exploded. So those were kind of my big areas that I needed to reconsider. So I had this idea. Actually, it was sparked by all of the balloon bars. And there's even an episode with Joe from Having a Party about the balloon bar and this idea that people were having these little pop-up shops where they were doing helium bouquets. But I knew I never wanted to do helium bouquets. Like it's just not realistic by me. It's too expensive. I didn't want a third party inflating balloons for me because then I would have to teach them, or I just wasn't interested in the balloon bar model. But it did occur to me that perhaps I could have kind of a balloon bar, like a third party with the garlands where I make them, but they sell and distribute them. So I had this in my head for a while, and strangest thing, someone was picking up a garland and she said, "Hey, my husband works at a grocery store and he told me to ask what you're doing for helium right now because they can't get it." And I just kind of said like, "Yeah, I can't get it either. Like it's so expensive. It's terrible. I hate it." And so I just asked like, "What does your husband do at the grocery store?" Thinking in the back of my head like maybe there'd be a conversation to be had about outsourcing these garlands. And she was like, "Oh, actually we own it. Like he's an owner." So here I am giving a grab and go garland to a part owner of a local grocery store, and she had already purchased it. She experienced how streamlined it was on the front end. So, bearing any catastrophe at the party where like all the balloons pop or something, which obviously wasn't going to happen, I knew I was already talking to a happy customer. And that connection to the grocery store, I wasn't going to let that slip through my fingers. So I asked if I could have her husband's contact at his, at the grocery store, like his actual business contact. And she gave it to me. And at that point, that was all I had figured out. Like, I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what this was going to look like. I just knew that grocery stores were hurting for helium, and that's the only way that they can sell balloons. And I knew that I was looking to not have to wait in my shop for these pickups. So I took time to think about it, and I realized that my ideal situation would be working with a grocery store that essentially would just be a pickup location. So I would still make all the balloons, and then I would just deliver the garlands to the grocery store. And then when people arrived, they would distribute. Like, they would be prepaid for. They wouldn't have to take cash. They wouldn't sell them on site. They would only be pre-orders, and then the grocery store would just be the pickup location. And the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized how beneficial that would be, not only to me but to my customers, because my original pickup window now had the opportunity, instead of being 2 hours on a Thursday afternoon, it could be any day of the week, and Thursdays through Sunday is what we ended up settling on. So I was able to give my customers this ginormous pickup window, because even though balloons picked up on a Thursday are going to last all weekend, people are still kind of weird about that. Like, if they have a Sunday party, they want to pick up their balloons on Sunday morning or Saturday night. Like, people just don't understand how long air-filled decor lasts, but that gave them peace of mind to know that they could pick up their balloons the day of their party at the grocery store. And when I actually thought about how I was going to pitch this to the grocery store, I realized it was motivation for them as well, because they would make a little bit of money off of each sale, and they would be getting people into their store. So if you're picking up balloons, why not also pick up your cake and your snacks and your, chips and your dip and all of your party accoutrements, like, you're already in the store. So I was kind of forming this little sales pitch in my head, and I called this woman's husband, who again works at the grocery store / owns the grocery store. So I called and I left a message, and I phrased it as a pop-up shop, because I was like, what's something that I can explain this like that he would understand? And I said, I'm Sarah from Wisconsin Balloon Decor. Your wife just purchased a grab-and-go garland from me, and I would love to have a conversation with you about the grocery store being a pop-up shop location for balloons. And that was kind of all I said. And he called me back the same day, and we set up a meeting to just chat. Like, again, I didn't have all these details figured out. I didn't know how I would pay them or how they would pay me or what it would look like. And I just set up a meeting and just kind of went in so that we could chat through logistics. So after a short meeting, we all decided that the easiest solution would be if people just ordered on my website like they already were doing, pay me on my website like they're already doing, and I would give the grocery store $10 per garland as like a service fee. Basically, it's like a 10% cut, essentially. I sell my grab-and-go garlands for $100. So for every garland that they are responsible for distributing, they get $10. So that means I'm still making $90 per garland. And the easiest way for them to do that was through their floral counter. So again, they are not selling the garlands. They are not handling any money. They are purely giving people the balloons that they have already ordered and paid for. So we worked with their floral counter to figure out how that would work. And the easiest solution was just to have my customers check in at the service counter when they arrive. So then the service counter goes over, they check in with floral, they get their balloons that I've previously delivered, and everyone's happy. So from the time we first met to the time that this was actually implemented was only a couple weeks. It was a really simple process. We didn't sign any paperwork or anything. It was all just kind of like a handshake agreement to test it out and see how it went. And all I had to do on my end was update my website to reflect the new pickup location and put directions on some of those auto emails. And that was pretty much it. The store was also awesome in giving me like a designated place over by their floral counter where I could install and display a garland. And then they made me little signs just saying to go to the service counter for more information. So the only information that's over at the or at the florist counter is a little brochure that I made in Canva that literally just explains what a grab and go garland is. My color chart was on the back so they could see the colors right there. And then it is a QR code that takes people directly to my website to place their order. So again, nobody is ordering in store. Nobody is exchanging money with the store. They are purely ordering from me, and then I am delivering to the store when it's time for their pickup. So let's take a second to talk about that actual ordering process, because I'm not sure if I ever did it on one of the Grab and Go Garland episodes, so I'm going to take a second to do it now. So the way that I have automated my ordering process, and you're free to go to my website and look at this, but I use online scheduling through 17 Hats. So basically that lets people pick a service, which is the grab and go garland, and then pick a time that they want to book that service. So my windows are 10 minutes each, because again, my service isn't like dog walking or a massage or like getting your nails done. Like, you don't need hour-long appointments. So mine are every 10 minutes. So people pick up, or they book their pickup time, and then they pay up front. So that's the difference in 17 Hats between like filling out the inquiry form. That is going to start a workflow that eventually leads to an invoice that they can pay. Online scheduling is cool because it allows them to pick their time and pay upfront. So there's no invoice that they may or may not see in their inbox. There's nothing. They have to pay to book their service. And that's what I love about my front end scheduling. So again, that is all 17 Hats. If you do not have 17 Hats, you could probably do this through Square or whatever correspondence you use to book people normally. However, I think having this process automated is super important, because otherwise it's just going to feel like more work. So if you can actually eliminate any conversation with your customers, it's going to feel like a lot less work on the front end. So my customers pick their colors, they pick their day, they pick their time, they pay, and then they get a confirmation email. And that's it. I don't do anything. I just get a notification saying that I have a new booking. So again, that is all through 17 Hats. I do not offer 17 Hats setup. I am just a user and I love 17 Hats. LetNicoleHelp.com is the place where you would go if you need someone to help you implement 17 Hats. I am not that person. I just fully recommend them. So 17 Hats is what I use for the booking. Then we make the garland, we take them all to the grocery store, and then the grocery store is who is going to distribute or actually give out the garlands. So let's take a second now to shift gears and talk about making the garlands, because remember I mentioned that was another area where things kind of started getting stale, because they're not hard, they're not difficult to make, but after a while, I just kind of got sick of it. And I kind of started fantasizing about what it would look like to have help. And you have probably, hopefully, maybe listened to the episode about hiring help. I hired a designated balloon inflator, and grab and go garlands were the first thing that I taught her how to make. So it is a standard recipe. Again, in the bundle, we share what that recipe is. And my inflator, she inflates all of the garlands and they're ready to go. So now I have gone from a process that previously looked like people booking online, then I would make the garland, then I would wait around on Thursdays for them to finally come and pick it up. Now my process is people book online, I do nothing. Then my inflator makes the entire garlands, I do nothing. Then I load them in my van and I drop them all off at the grocery store for them to be distributed throughout the weekend, and I do nothing. So literally all I'm doing now is having the platform available to make sales. So my website is making those sales, and then I'm printing out the invoices, and after the garlands are made, I staple the invoice that says paid in full with the customer name on there, and I bag everything, and then we leave it at this florist counter in the grocery store. So that is kind of that's the whole overall process. But being able to eliminate each one of those steps means that this is pretty much just free money at this point. So even though I am giving the grocery store $10 per garland, and I pay my balloon inflator $10 per garland, that's how I pay her, and that is, that's a simple way to do it. And she can make like 4 or 5 garlands an hour easily. So I'm happy to pay her $50 an hour if she is making me, $500 an hour. So that's kind of where my attitude has changed this year about paying people. I feel like I used to be really, really frugal, but if I can pay someone $50 to inflate $500 worth of balloons, that's really worth it. And after expenses, so after the balloons, after paying Kate to inflate the garlands, after paying the grocery store $10 to handle the pickups, really, really conservatively, I'm still making about $50 per garland. And that now is pretty much free money because I'm not having to do anything except load them in my van and bring them to the grocery store. And many of you probably have more help than I do, so you wouldn't even have to do that part. So when I get to the grocery store, I have a little folder with the invoices in there so that the service desk knows who they're expecting. And some weeks there are none, and some weeks there's two. And it's been working really well. It is a slower time right now. It's the winter and not many people are booking grab and go garlands, but I'm glad that we implemented during a slow time, and then we can kind of grow into graduation season and summer when grab and go garlands get really popular again. And again, the grocery store, like if they don't sell any, they don't really care. They're not, they're not spending any money on them. So if they don't sell any, they don't care. And then at the end of the month, I will just write them a check from Wisconsin Balloon Decor for however many garlands I sold, and that's it. Like it's very, I think, intimidating when I tell people that I've partnered with a local grocery store to be my distributor of garlands. That sounds way more intense, but at the end of the day, all it is that I am writing them a check for $10 per garland that they hand out to customers. Prepaid, pre-ordered, pre-designed. They don't have to do anything. And that was really what was important to me. And I'm going to talk about how I kind of pitched it and what book really helped clarify my wording when I had that meeting right after the break. Then we're going to talk about how you could do this as well. If you haven't checked out Having a Party Wholesale yet, what are you waiting for? And guess what? The deal just got even sweeter. Our friends over at Having a Party have set up a special coupon code just for listeners of the podcast. Use code BRIGHTBALLOON for 5% off the next time you check out at Having a Party. So head over to havingaparty.com for your next balloon order. All right, welcome back. So if you paid attention to any of the episodes or the books that I read last year, or if you're a member of the book club, you have probably heard me talk about the Pumpkin Plan, which has a section in there that I'm obsessed with, and I feel like a broken record, but this idea of your area of innovation. And this is one more example of where knowing what my area of innovation is really helped me pitch this product to a local grocery store. So just to refresh, your area of innovation in your business can only be one of these three things: price, convenience, or quality, aka custom everything. So those are the only three areas. You cannot be all three of them. You can't be the best price in the most convenient way with the best quality. Like, you're just going to put yourself out of business. If your quality is higher, your prices probably are higher. If your prices are super low, you're going to have to sacrifice on the quality or the customization. If your game is convenience, that is mine, then you're probably not going to lean into the customization because that's not very convenient, right? So knowing that I am all about convenience, that Wisconsin Balloon Decor is the convenient solution for people who want awesome balloons, I wanted to align myself with a business that was also living in that same area of innovation. So I saw grocery store as the perfect solution, because when you think of grocery store balloons, they're basic, right? Like, they're convenient. They're not amazing. Like, you're just going to get a little bouquet because you're at the store already. You need decorations. You're going to go pick those up. Easy, right? Super convenient. The grocery stores around me don't have helium right now. So I kind of had them in a good position, because not only are they understanding of my convenience model, and I was presenting them with something that wasn't going to create any more work for them, but it was also solving a problem that they had recently run into, which was the lack of helium and really the uncertainty of helium. Around me, you never know when you're going to get it or when you're not going to be able to get it. So I was able to offer them a solution that was going to better serve their current customers and potentially bring new customers into the store to do some convenience shopping, right? You're there already, so why not pick up your birthday cake? Why not pick up the candles that you forgot? Oh, why not throw some flowers in your cart just so you have them? We kind of were totally aligned on the idea of convenience. So if your area of innovation is not convenience, if you are super custom and everything is the highest quality, maybe you want to align yourself with a business that also works like that, like a gourmet candy shop or a fancy schmancy, like a little children's toy store boutique. Like, you want to find a business that is going to align with you and make it as easy as possible. That's my advice. Make it as easy as possible. So for me, I could tell that handling all of the sales in advance, having no money involved, like at the register, like people weren't going to be checking out with their balloons, like keeping that all on my plate was the way that I was going to make it really convenient and easy for this grocery store to say yes, because we already didn't have to figure out any of those logistics. All we had to figure out was, who am I going to contact when someone places an order, and where am I going to put the balloons, and where are my customers going to come and check in? So that was a 30-minute conversation, and we had all of that figured out. So that worked well. And again, the fact that I was also solving their balloon problem was a bonus. Like, it absolutely sealed the deal for me. So getting up and running at the grocery store was not as challenging as you might think. But something interesting happened. The moment that I did a post on Instagram announcing our new pickup partner, I got an email from 2 other grocery stores in my town wanting to offer the same thing. They saw it and they were like, we also don't have helium. We would like to do garland pickups at our location. So I have not moved on that yet. I actually told them, like, I need to get through the first of the year. I need to get it up and going at this first location, then I can expand to your locations. So within the year, my goal is to be at 3 grocery store locations, all promoting, because remember, I have a garland actually set up in the store so people can see what they're ordering. Then right next to it is the little rack card where they can place their order online using the QR code. And if I have 3 locations in 3 different towns promoting that for me and distributing it for me, and remember, Kate, my inflator, is blowing all those balloons up for me and I'm not doing anything, I can essentially triple my income just from this one product without having to do any additional work other than sales. Like, I need to keep promoting these. I need people to want them in their homes and at their parties, and they're not going to do that unless I show photos of it or if I tell people. And that's another point that I want to clarify. Grab and go garlands don't necessarily sell themselves. It's not like you're going to put these up on Instagram and you're going to get 10 orders tomorrow. But in the busy times, grab and go garlands are a great alternative. So if someone is saying, I want you for Saturday, and you're booked, instead of saying, no, I'm booked, you can say, I'm booked, but what about a grab and go garland option? It's, here's how you hang it up, here's how you install, here's what they look like, you can pick the colors. And if the option is nothing or a grab and go garland, most people will opt for that. So I just want to clarify that, because I don't want to mislead anyone and think that all you have to do is start put these on your website and they're just going to sell themselves. You do still have to be the salesperson. You do still have to tell people about them and show them off on your website and your Instagram, and make sure to have a cute display in the store. Get them in front of people, and then they'll start ordering them. And as soon as they start ordering, it's like magic. If you have 17 hats set up and they can place the order without even talking to you. If you have help, even if you don't have help, if I still had to make all of the grab and go garlands myself, it wouldn't be that much work. It would still be lucrative. The pickup is the key. Having a third party location handle the pickup for you is amazing, because you're essentially able to be in 2 places at once. Because remember, if somebody books a pickup for Saturday at noon, you're still going to drop those garlands off on like Thursday morning or Friday morning. The grocery store is going to have all of the garlands way before anybody comes to get them. So you're going to do one big delivery of all the weekend garlands, and then you are going to go on your way and do your installs, or sit at home, or go to your kid's soccer game. You're going to do whatever you want, because you now have basically an employee that you're not really having to pay very much or train. You're just having the store employee pass out garlands. And I was a little bit nervous my first time, like when I brought the garlands, because we love to overcomplicate what we do and think that we're the only people who can do balloons. But I got nervous, like, what if they pop them, or what if they shove them in the car wrong, or what if they don't look good, or what if they can't answer the customer's questions? So I followed up with both of my pickups the first weekend, and they said so many nice things. Like, they brought the garland out to their car, they were so helpful, it worked amazing, they were able to get all their groceries. So as soon as I got those rave reviews from my customers, I was like, okay, this is proof of concept, this is really gonna work long term. So now I am going to keep my head down and try to market these as much as possible. I want to get in those other locations, because again, it's like cloning yourself. It's like being in two places at once, because you do the work in advance, you drop it off, and then you're on your way. So I rambled, and I feel like I kind of explained this in a roundabout way, but let's take a quick break, and then we're just going to wrap it up. I'm going to make this foolproof so you guys know how to implement, and then we will be done for today. So hang on one sec for one final thought. BalloonCoach.com has been a sponsor of the Bright Balloon since pretty much day one, because like this podcast, Balloon Coach focuses on growing your balloon business. I personally love Balloon Boss Mastermind because it is a group that constantly challenges me to grow my business, think about things in new ways, and I'm able to ask questions to other balloon business owners who usually have more experience than I do. From monthly webinars to in-person events and downloadable resources, BalloonCoach.com really has it all. So check out the link in the show notes wherever you're listening to learn more about BalloonCoach.com. All right, let's review. I hope some of you are excited. So first up, if you do not currently offer grab-and-go garlands, go back and listen to the original grab-and-go garland episodes that will be linked in the show notes. Second, if you haven't implemented these yet and you would like to have them up on your website and implemented today, we have the bundle available. So the grab-and-go garland bundle is available for purchase right now, also linked in the show notes or on the Bright Balloon website, brightballoon.com. You can purchase that, and that has the recipe of how to make a garland, the postcard that you attach with the little installation kit. It links to all of the hooks and products that we use in the installation kit. There is a little almost infomercial in there that I recorded showing how people can install their garlands at home, how to properly tie the 260s, everything. Everything's included, even some wording on how to sell these. So if you don't have that yet, you can purchase that bundle as well so that you have everything you need. Then you can start looking for your third-party distributor. So think about what your company is all about. Is it convenience? Is it quality? Is it price? And then try to find a grocery store or a shop or a coffee shop or a toy store or a bakery. It could be anything, anybody that might be a good partner because they align with your area of innovation and because it's going to be an additional service for their customers with no additional work. In fact, you're actually going to pay them. Remember, like, you don't have to do that. You might find someone who's willing to do this for free because they just want people to come into their shop. Like, you don't have to have any sort of financial agreement. For me, I just felt like $10 per garland was super easy. And then the final part, like the ultimate bonus, is if you can also find someone to make your garlands for you. I hired help for the very first time this year, and I felt like organic balloon decor was the place to start because you don't have to worry about sizing. You don't have to worry about really specific details. It really got my inflator in the swing of like tying lots of balloons and starting to use the words like duplets and clusters and how to stack using a 260. Like, all of that is a really good place for someone to start helping you inflate. Even if they just inflate the balloons and you put the garlands together, that helps. And you can pay that person whatever you want. Maybe it's your kids and you're going to pay them a little something. I pay my inflator $10 per garland, just like flat fee. She does everything. She puts them together. She adds the little 5-inch clusters on there. Like, they're ready to walk out the door. So she does all of that for me. And then my job is essentially selling. Like my job is to make sure that people see these on Instagram, they see them on Facebook, that I talk about them, that I reroute customers to purchase a grab and go if I'm not available for their weekend event. And all of that has added up to more than $10,000 of additional business this year. And my goal for 2023 is to sell 200 of them. So that is $20,000. That alone could be a part-time job or a side hustle, just doing these grab and go garlands. So keep it simple. Only allow your customers a few options. I don't actually offer them any options. The garland is the size that it is. There's no special add-ons. The only thing they get to pick is their colors and their pickup time. And now all of those pickups are at the grocery store. I even did consider for a moment like letting them choose. Do you want to pick up from my shop or the grocery store? And it was like, no, I hate waiting for people when they're late. I rather just have all Thursdays available. I don't have to clean my shop anymore. It can be a mess. We are already in production for the weekend. Like this solved all of my problems. But it also solved a problem for the grocery store, which was super convenient. So I hope that this has given you some ideas, some motivation. Maybe you haven't even started grab and goes and this is the first year you're hearing about grab and go garlands. That will be a great place to start. Maybe you have mastered grab and go garlands, but you are like me and you're sick of waiting for people who are late or who don't show up. Like you can outsource this all to someone who might be really happy to have that additional business and that additional foot traffic in their store. So think about grocery stores, think about small businesses that are owned by families, think about something that is close to your house. Again, you don't want to drive 45 minutes to drop these off. This is to make your life easier. And in exchange, it will make your customers' lives easier and it'll make, hopefully, your third-party partner, it'll be easy for them as well. So I hope that has encouraged you to think outside the box and find a partner that might be a good fit. There are many of you that are still home-based, and that is the reason why you haven't implemented grab and go garland pickups. So this could solve your problem as well. So let me know what businesses you are collaborating with. If any of you have success finding partners, I would love to hear it. And welcome to 2023. We are going to be aggressive with our sales this year so that we can all make a little bit more money. I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. If you are interested in bonus episodes, check out our Patreon group where I release an additional episode every single week and you unlock more than 50 archived episodes as soon as you join. Check out the link in the show notes wherever you're listening.